Recording in progress.
Yes, Unbreakables, good morning. So, this training is what Peter calls the art of living through me. So, we have various stages in life. We can have your whiny, little, bitchy victim stage. Life happens to me. Everyone's bad, nobody loves me, nobody respects me, everything in the world is bad, cost of living, COVID, Boris, my past, my parents, my partner, my kids, my boss. 24/7 locked in whiny bitchy mindset, victim mode of, everything in the world that is possibly negative that has happened to me, happened in the past, or is gonna happen to me in the future but might never happen. I'm just going to focus on all these things, and all I'm going to do all day is I'm going to moan, blame, complain and justify about things that I can't change and things that I'm not in control of, and I'm going to make our entire life like I am just a pinball in a human pinball in a machine, and everything's just going on around me and I'm powerless to do anything about it. I'm in a state of learned hopelessness. I'm helpless. Like everything that happens is just set out and I can't change it. Those people will never go anywhere in life. Total victim mindset. All they do is moan. They cannot open their mouth without moaning. They cannot open their mouth without finding a negative. They are fucked. Okay? And I've been there, so I get it. Then we have life happens to me. Then we have life happens for me. So victim to me. Life happens to me. I'm not in control. Then we have life happens for me. This is when we start to look for the lessons and the gifts in every situation. So as soon as, when you've got this at an elite level, it's when you're grateful for all challenge in advance. And it's as soon as let's say a crisis has happened, straight away, what's the magic in this situation that I haven't yet noticed? What's the gift and the lesson in this chaos and crisis that I haven't yet noticed? Use that as a world-class question. How quickly can I ask that? What's the positive in this situation that I haven't yet noticed? Why would I not have noticed it? Because I have a poor level of awareness, because I'm too busy feeling sorry for myself and blaming the world, blaming my job, blaming the government, blaming the rain, blaming my parents, and blaming fucking anything that I can to make me feel better about my soul-sucking existence and the fact that I'm not willing to do fuck all about changing it and moving forwards. Okay? Then so when we then get to looking for the lesson and the gift, wow, okay, let's go back to Lee's house move situation. I'm really happy here. I love it. It's got a better shower, it's got a better kitchen, it's clean, everything's brand new, all the toilets work, and everything's pretty cool. So had I not had that meltdown when I had to move house, imagine if straight away when I'd have got that phone call thinking that the toilet and the gutter was going to get fixed, and the lady said, "I'm really sorry, Mr. Freeman, but the landlord's putting the house on the market." Straight into victim mode. Fuck's sake. Does he know how difficult it was? I had to move the washer, the dryer, the fridge freezer, the bed, and everything in between. Total chaos. Imagine if straight away on that phone I could have gone, what's the magic and the gift in this situation that I haven't yet noticed? It's here now, it's right in front of me. You're looking at it. Amazing place, only slightly more expensive, much happier environment. Big Velux lights, light, what I need, which is important. So I could have gone back and gone, life is happening for me. Survivor mindset, warrior mindset. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm in control. I'm in control of how I handle this. I'm in charge of how I respond. I'm in charge of my thoughts. And all of that is my responsibility, which is my ability to respond. Because when you can't control what's happening to you, but you can control how you respond to it, that is where your fucking power lies. I'm not in control of this, but I'm in control of how I respond to it. So, you've heard me talk about those two options very, very often, haven't you? Every mindset person talks about them. I don't know who created it. Peter didn't create it. Tony Robbins didn't create it. Eddie Pinero didn't create it. It's been around fucking years. Life happens for me, not to me. Write that down. If you can't get a handle on that as your first port of call in your mindset lesson, then you will stay stuck forever. Life happens for me, not to me. For me, achiever, winner, survivor, grateful, gifts, lessons. To me, whiny, bitchy, moany, justifying little fucking victim. Completely different. So you might have to write that down every day for the next 100 days. Imagine if every day the first thing you wrote down was, today I need to remember today's power message. Today I need to remember that life happens for me, not to me. Today I need to remember that I'm a survivor and a warrior, not a victim. Today I need to remember that I'm in the driver's seat, not the passenger seat. Remind yourself every single day. Imagine if you then wrote down every single day. People ask me what journaling is. This is what journaling is for me. It's just moving your thoughts from your head onto paper to find the answers. Imagine if then every single morning we write down, in every situation that happens to me, physical, metaphysical, which we'll come on to, emotional, in my career, in my life, in my health, my wealth, my business and everything. Every time there's a setback and a challenge and adversity, I'm going to ask myself this question straight away. What's the magic and the gift in this situation that I haven't yet noticed? Because I'm too busy feeling sorry for myself. I'm too busy moaning, blaming and complaining. Life's not fair. Life's what you make it. So, there is another stage. So we've done, I need to get these right. We've done life happens to me, victim. We've done life happens for me, survivor and warrior. What about this one then? What about the art of living through me? Not to me, not for me, but through me. I need a shave and a head shave. That sort of stuff afterwards. So, there is a direct link. Get a handle on this today and your life is going to go next level, trust me. There is a direct link between every single one of your thoughts and your personal reality. We know this. Thoughts become things. Now, I don't pretend to be Dr. Freeman. I definitely didn't listen in science at school. But I'm now starting to understand little bits and bats about metaphysics. The metaphysical world and the physical world. And it's actually quite simple when you break it down. Clever people try to make simple things sound complicated, don't they? To make themselves sound more clever. Essentially what I'm doing now, I'm just a simple person trying to sound clever. So what is metaphysical? Well, you had a lot of them last night. And somebody posted about them in the elite group this morning. I posted about mine and said somebody told me that when my dreams were delusional, I nearly fell off my fucking unicorn. Dreams, thoughts, beliefs, where are they? Can you sell them? Can you touch them? Can you buy them? Can you control them? Sometimes. That's what we mean. That's what clever people mean by the metaphysical world. The physical world is me. Watch. Head. Run. Action. Punch. Desk. House. Physical. Can touch it. So this is proven at a physical level. It's proven at a scientific level. And I think you'll come away from this understanding, that's why I do what I do. That's why I feel this way. That's why I think this way. Because what you intend, where you place your attention on your intention, will appear in your life. If you place all your attention on the fact that you are feeling ill, what will you get more feelings of? Being ill. If you place all your attention on the fact that you don't like your job, what will you get more feelings of? Not liking your job. If you put all of your feelings on your toxic relationship and how it's not serving you and how that person's not meeting your needs, what will you get more feelings of? Exactly that. So this is why we must place all of our attention, which is our energy and our focus, on our intention, which is our desired outcome. Am I going to focus? If I put all my energy and attention on how I feel and I'm lonely and people weren't there for me and no one serves me and the weather was bad and I let everyone down and I don't feel like I'm good enough and that's because the way someone made me feel in my past and it wasn't my fault and yada, 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 boring. More and more of those thoughts. Or I can place all my attention, my energy and focus on my intention, my desired outcomes. How do I want my life to look? What am I grateful for? Who is good to me? What can I do to improve my life? Because what's gone doesn't matter. So these are the two real world examples, right? If you want to raise your arms above your head, what raises your arms? I reckon there could be about 1,000 different answers to this. If I want to pick this coffee up, have a sip of coffee, what moved my arm across there to pick the coffee up, drank it for once in the life without spilling it. When my head just kicked in earlier and I went, okay, now I need a shave. What made me touch my face? Brain, thoughts, muscles, neuromuscular connections, motor neurons, nerves, a whole host of things. Now, what actually made me pick up that cup of coffee and drink it was my intention. Bear with me on this. Because we'll say it's the brain and we'll say it's the thoughts, and that's exactly what I thought, first of all, Luke. But if I just think about picking that cup of coffee up, like all my thoughts, pick that coffee up and drink it. Pick that coffee up and drink it. Raise your arms above your head. Raise your arms above your head. Thinking it, saying it, touch your beard, touch your beard, touch your beard. No, nothing. Nothing will happen. This is why I'm a little bit bore off with your manifestation stuff. Yes, thoughts will become reality, but it has to go further than that. Rhonda Byrne, I love you to bits, but Jesus wept, you cannot think your way to your perfect weight. This is where she's BS'd people. Because the thought has to become intention, and the intention has to become an action, or it will never happen. You can't think your way out of your troubles. You can't think your way out of anything. Yet it all starts with a thought. Bear with me on this, because I fucking went through this about 300 times for it to make sense. So intention, excuse me, intention is the bridge between the thought and the action. Thought, I want to kick that coffee up. Intention, do I intend to do it? Signal, muscle, action, outcome, drank the coffee. Every time, perfectly. This is why in lifting weights, mind-muscle connection is so huge. People have laughed at me in the past when I lift weights with my eyes closed. Guess who's got the biggest biceps, me or them? You know, people have laughed at me when I lift very, very slow with good form and not heavy weights. Oh, I thought you'd lifted more, bro. No, I don't. That's why I've got bigger muscles. Because I'm focused on mind-muscle connection. This has to send signals and thoughts. I want to do a bench press. Then it needs to send the intention to do it. Then the outcome and the physical thing has to happen. It goes from metaphysical to physical. Now, if all my thoughts are on recruiting every single muscle fibre in that chest to lift it, not on, fuck me, she's got a nice ass, and wowzers, I'm just going to reply to that message before I do this bench press. And actually, the girl with a nice ass is watching, so I'm going to put an extra couple of plates on. And all my thoughts are on how much I'm lifting. Is she watching? Is she watching? Fucking see it in the gym every day. Probably used to do it myself, that's why it triggers me. Thoughts are all over the shop. They're not on the muscle. They're not on the bench press. They're not on some of them are enough to make it happen, but they're not fully on it. Does that make sense? Am I going to be able to bench heavier and better with better form if all of my thoughts are on that bench press? Luke, you know this when we've trained together. It's like it's total focus for 12, 15 reps. There's no room to think anything else apart from we're just in that set, recruiting every muscle fibre until we've failed. Which is why Luke always posts funny things about using his steering wheel with his teeth because he can't move his arms. Because he's exhausted every single fucking muscle fibre. Not a few, because his attention's all over. Just making sense? Yeah, thought, I'm going to go for a run later, then you have to actually go. Just the thought isn't good enough. It's the connection. Thoughts become things. The intention, the attention must go on the intention, but then it must transpire across. Just like I have to actually raise my arm up. Now, this is a guy who I've been studying. It's quite deep, so feel free to look him up. He's called William James, and he was the American, pretty much the American godfather of psychology. And he's asked many times, if you could preach and share one thing, what would it be? And he said the same thing every time I've heard Peter say this again about 20 times. So he's said it so many times that he can say it without thinking about it because he believes it. Peter said it so many times that he can say it without thinking it. Peter's now taught me and I can say it so many times without thinking about it. A person can change the circumstances of their life with the attitude of their mind. I would write that down. A person can change the circumstances of their life with the attitude of their mind. If you think certain thoughts, you will create circumstances linked to them. And then we'll discuss how this goes from metaphysical thoughts. It can't just stay there. Luke's absolutely right. It has to go from metaphysical, subconscious, subliminal, into physical. So here's the real world example that's going to blow your head. I wasn't going to share this because I felt like a bit of a pussy, but I'm going to. Sarah knows, Nat knows, and someone else knows. So on Sunday, I was going to jack in the 200-mile run. You might be pretty shocked to hear that. Having done the ultra with Mark the week before, fairly heavy start to last week, Monday, and then just being ill for 3 or 4 days. I think I kept it quite well hidden, but Saturday was a fucking struggle for me. Big time. And I started thinking a lot of things. One of my thoughts was, I fucking hate Rother Valley. I am sick to death of that lake. I'm sick to death of the chavvy families blocking the path so you can't even get past. I'm sick to death of the toilets. I'm sick to death of the puddles, the potholes, paying the parking fee, and everything in between. Any negative I could find about Rother Valley, my mind found it from a single thought. And then it was triggered from a thought that as soon as I got home, I pretty much fell asleep. And I'm like, well, that was a great Saturday evening. And then I was very, very stiff on Sunday. And my energy was really off point on Sunday. I was a little bit, not to a bad level where, like before when I said that Logan said, Daddy, I don't want you to be angry, I just want you to be happy all the time. My energy was just low. Like, I couldn't even be fucking arsed playing Hot Wheels. I'm like, come on, mate, let's just watch Emoji Movie or something. You know, let's not get all the toys out again. Let's not play Pac-Man game for the 400th time. Just shitty energy, low energy. Didn't really want to do stuff. So then Monday morning, I first voiced the concern on Sunday to Nat. I voiced it to Sarah on Tuesday when we trained, and I voiced it to Paul, the coach. And that all began with a thought, right? It wasn't a thought about not being good enough or not doing it. I knew I could do it. My thoughts were, I don't want the next 8 weeks of my life to be wiped out from Saturday morning till Tuesday because I'm absolutely exhausted with the runs. I don't want to be running 70, 80, 90 miles plus every Saturday, not being able to walk, and there being an energy consequence for you guys because my energy's low, potentially getting ill, business could struggle because my energy's so low, everything in between, right? So if you felt attacked at the beginning, I'm calling myself out now. Every single negative I could find about doing that 200 miles, I found it. I don't need to do it. Why do you need to do it, Lee? Who are you proving yourself to? You're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're doing it for fame and glory. You're doing it for significance. You're doing it to get on the news again. You're doing it to, again, prove yourself to people from your childhood that you're good enough. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. You don't need to do it. Why do you need to do it? Just quit. So then I journaled it further. This is thoughts. What's my mind finding there? I thought one thought, right, and this is what you guys do when you're getting depressed and going into victim mode and all the other stuff. That just started with a thought that I'm tired, my legs hurt. Why am I doing this? My energy's a bit low today. It's one day. Okay, and then the world, the metaphysical world, found all these pictures and evidence and loads of reasons, false evidence, false beliefs, backing up why not to do it. And some of the people that I told also then backed them up and agreed with me. No, I agree with you, Lee, you don't need to do it. No one's going to think anything less of you. No one's going to give a shit. I was like, I know they won't. I don't give a shit if they did. But then I slept on it. And I started to think a different thought. So I started to think about, how can I still do it, but without all those negatives that I just discussed? Well, if you don't like Rother Valley, change the fucking venue, which I have done, kinda. If you don't want to be knackered and running ultras every Saturday for the next 8 weeks, don't run fucking ultras every Saturday for the next 8 weeks. So I got on the phone, spoke to Paul, told him everything, brain dumped it all out. He was like, bro, it's your call. And then I was like, thought a new thought. a new thought was, I could do this run tomorrow if I wanted to. I'm not going to get any fitter in the next 8 weeks, borderline. I'm not going to really get any mentally tougher. I could do this tomorrow if I wanted to. Paul went, yeah, you could, absolutely. So without a shadow of a doubt. So why do I need to do long runs every Saturday for the next 8 weeks? You don't. You're just going to smash your body to pieces. So we've thought a new thought, created the correct evidence, ripped the training plan to shreds. I'm not running for more than 90 minutes, apart from one test run in the next 8 weeks. I'm planning some little routes outside of Rother Valley, although using Rother Valley as a base to give me a different environment, to give me a break from the monotony and the boredom. And then I went back to thinking of different thoughts. I'm going to share something with you guys. Can you guys see my screen? Give me a thumbs up, Stephen. I went back to remembering the reason why I'm doing it. That little fella there, Alfie, that's him on his birthday. That's who I'm doing it for. That's the why. That's the leverage. That's the emotional reason. He gets up every single fucking day, despite chemotherapy, despite having Down syndrome, and just smiles and fights because he doesn't know any different. And that's the reason why I'm doing it. That's the reason why I started doing this run. I hadn't even told any of you guys yet, have I? So I changed my thoughts. The universe, whatever you want to call it, the metaphysical world changed the pictures. Then we changed the plan. Then we placed the attention on the intention. And then we remembered the emotional fucking reason and the leverage and the why of why we're doing what we are. Guess what? I feel more fired up than ever. And then Chris sent everything to press yesterday. I said, quick, send it to press now before I change my mind again. But you have to think, my thoughts went from, I can't do this and I don't want to do this because, to I can still do this, I just need to find a different way. Can you see how those two things, those 2 days, are exactly the same circumstance? Can you see how it's exactly the same thing, but the thought was different, and the outside world then matched the pictures of my inside world? Our outer world will always follow our inner world. And then I want you to really, so different thoughts produced different outcomes. One thought was, I'm not enjoying this, I don't want to do this. Whoa, one negative, all of a sudden there's all these pictures. I'm talking about Logan, I'm talking about hating Rother Valley, I'm talking about Chavs walking around getting in my way, I'm talking about the toilets are dirty, I'm talking about shitty burgers, I'm talking about everything that I can find to give myself the evidence to not do it, to make myself feel better, essentially because I was tired. And then I switched it, had a different thought, right, how can I do this? How can I do this and why do I need to do this? And all of a sudden all these pictures appear of why it's a good idea, how I can overcome the things, what changes we need to make. And it all comes down to your thoughts. Where you place your attention on your intention, then the right pictures will show up. But they are connected. This isn't woo-woo, guys. This is scientifically backed. If you get up this morning, I'm going to use Luke as an example. Fucking hell, Luke's like a extra in today's training session. Right, we know a certain person in your life, Luke, who we talked about, who is negative as F-U-C-K. Everything is negative. Probably from how you've described that person, one of the biggest victim mindset mentalities we've ever known. Two people, same situations, same circumstances, different thoughts. One went that way, one went that way. Neither of them were different. And this is the difference, right? So think of the initial thought. I'm never going to be rich, me. I'll always be poor. I hate this job. I'll never be able to change jobs. I'll never be able to get a different job. I'll be doing this until I die. Fucking hate it. Pays wank. Bosses will see you next Tuesday. What pictures show up? More pictures of that. Oh, I can be wealthy. I can run my own business. I can achieve anything that I want. Opportunity is everywhere. There's more money in the world than ever before. It's everywhere. Everywhere around us. Most people's mindsets are closed to it. So we can have a closed mindset or an open mindset. It's the same thing. I will never get the body I want. I can't lose weight. Me, everyone in our family's always been big. I'll never lose weight. I'll never get the body I want. I haven't got the discipline and willpower for that. I'll never do that. All those pictures will show up. I'm always going to be fat. I'll never fall in love. I'm never going to be happy. I'll never find anyone. I'm always going to be on my own. I'm always going to be lonely. People always let me down. No one will ever love me. All women in the world are bad. All men in the world are bad. Relationships are a waste of time. It's easier just to stay on your own. More and more pictures. But then more and more if we flip it. Flip the thoughts. I can get the body I want. Millions of people have. This is my current laugh at the moment. Inquiries. I'm dying to screenshot some of them to send them out. People that want to lose body weight. People that want to lose body fat. I'm not even kidding you guys, right? This is 3 or 4 times a day, inquiries. See, Lee, problem I have is I don't have much time because I work full time and I've got a daughter. Well, fuck me blind. There's me thinking that everyone in the world who's got a good body is a fucking aristocrat who lives in Chelsea with a millionaire fucking whatever it is you get given when people die. I can't think of the word. Inheritance. And fucking no children. I forgot that everyone who's got a good body is that. Everyone who's got a good body was born with fucking 4 million in their account and they had to snip at 14, so they've not got kids. Fucking hell. I haven't got much time because I've got a full-time fucking job. Yes, sweetheart, so have 90 fucking percent, well, probably not 90%, but so have most people. Many people work 2 jobs. Veronica Rees is a WBFF pro. She has 5 kids and 5 businesses, and she's 50. I haven't got time because I've got a full-time job and kids. Wow. That's the story. That's the thought. That's the tale. And if that person says that enough times, guess what shows up in their life every day? More and more thoughts and pictures of not having enough time. More and more thoughts of how busy they are. What about if they looked at their screen time and looked at their planner and went, well, let's not say non-perfect, but let's go back to what Lee did at the weekend. Let's actually look at the evidence. Let's actually look at what's the goal? Where do I need to place my intention? Have I got, actually, yes. I've got more than an hour every single day, 7 days a week, despite working full time and having a child. Poor little princess. These full-time jobs and these children we have to look after. It's terrible, isn't it? Anyway. But can you see how it's just, we create the reality with our thoughts? And whatever we repetitively think in this metaphysical world, it will connect and show up. But there again, life happens to them, not for them. And this is life happens through me. So as we said, right, thoughts and dreams, what are they? Metaphysical. You can't see them, you can't feel them, you can't touch them, you can't package them, you can't buy them. And they are generated out of this metaphysical world from a level of consciousness which is behind the physical world. Because the physical actions will follow the metaphysical thoughts. Pick the coffee cup up. There, done. So we have to understand that both areas exist. right? This is why people get locked in this. I mean, if you want to sit in a room humming and thinking you're going to manifest your like perfect life, then crack on, each to their own. But you know what some of the other stuff is in the secret is a bit crackers as well. I realised that I slept in the middle of my bed, so I wasn't leaving room for my perfect partner. So I started sleeping on one side of the bed, and my perfect partner appeared just because I was thinking about them. No. No. Circumstances will help you, but it all comes down to the thoughts and then the actions following it. Because the thoughts give birth to the actions, and the actions produce the outcomes, i.e., your life and your circumstances. So we need to cover all bases. We need to place our attention on our intention, which bridges the thought to the outcome. So we start with the metaphysical, the thought, processing the intention, which is the bridge to the physical, which is the outcome, i.e. going for the run, asking the girl out, changing jobs, leaving the relationship, and that will produce the outcome, which essentially will produce the outcomes and the circumstances of your life. It's the thought that leads to the action that leads to the outcome. Please someone tell me this has all made sense, because it took me a long time to get my head around it. And it goes back to what William James said. A person can change the circumstances of their life by changing the attitude of their mind. But we cannot just think the thoughts and drink the coffee. We cannot just think the thoughts and go for the run. We cannot just think the thoughts and the perfect job, partner, career, body, life will appear. We have to link the thoughts to create the pictures, to then lead to the physical doing, working, which will then produce the circumstance and the outcome. Guys, that's all I've got for you today. 200 miles is on, and it's on for Alfie. Do not forget that emotional leverage, and do not forget the reason. I love you all. Have a fucking phenomenal Friday.